Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about tonight? Well, Warner Brothers decided they're going to kill off their franchises. So Warner Brothers, during a earnings call, the Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav outlined the company's plan to transform its biggest gaming franchises from traditional console and PC releases into always-on live service games. Zaslav made the comment during the opening remarks to investors, in which referred to several of the company's franchises, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Batman, Mortal Kombat, as 1 billion gaming properties. Developer NetherRealm's Mortal Kombat 1, he noted, nearly sold 3 million copies since launch in mid-September. He says, "Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3 to 4 year release cycles to include more always on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spend more time on more platforms. Ultimately," he says, "we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles and at larger levels." He continued, we are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue. So, they did release some of those games. There's the free-to-play Mortal Kombat Onslaught, which released on iOS and Android at the end of October. So here recently. And of course, they had their free-to-play Hero Fighter Multiverse, which did really badly, right? It did have a lot of interest during open beta, but that game, if you're not familiar, it was then later pulled offline earlier this year amid dwindling player numbers with promise of a full release in 2024. And we saw Rocksteady's upcoming Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, which looks to be Warner Brothers' first attempt into a live service AAA game. But, once that extended showcase showed off back in March to pretty enthusiastic response from the fans and players out there, that game got delayed and is supposed to be releasing next year in 2024. So off to a great start. I guess if Warner Brothers, if you want to kill off all your franchises, then go for it. I mean, that's just what it is, really. Like, all of our franchises are going to be live service. Great. Then no one's going to care. Or no one should care, I should say. No one should be investing their time in these. If Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League ends up being what we saw back in March, you might as well say Suicide Squad kill our franchise. Like, take Rocksteady from being like this juggernaut of a developer down to being nothing but a footnote, right? Because they're just people aren't excited, and people weren't excited about seeing what Suicide Squad was, because when they saw it and they saw the gameplay, they just saw dollar signs for the developer. That's all they saw when they saw gameplay. That's all I saw. It was like, oh, they're going to monetize the crap out of this game. And you can click, it's just like painted all over the top of this game. And it's like, I think everybody saw that and they're like, nah, we're good. And so, and in that case, Rocksteady and Warner Brothers, maybe or maybe not, one of them saw it and went like, this is not going to work out so hot. And it was the same thing for the multiverse game too, right? They had a lot of interest because it was a lot of Warner Brother characters in a Smash Brother type game. But once it came out in the open beta and people seen how heavily monetized the game was, even though it was a free to play, but how heavily monetized it was, and the various issues that it had, people just lost interest in it. They're like, I don't want to have to. You can't flood the market with live service games. That's the problem. You can't. People aren't going to jump from live service to live service, right? They're just, if they find a live service they like, they're going to just stay and play that. So you're not going to get them. And if there's too many live services out there, they're just going to stop playing live services altogether, right? They're just going to not, yours is going to be, is kind of like the battle royale games, right? The market got flooded with those and a ton of them died. Only a few remain, right? And some developers still want to make them for some stupid reason, but it's like, no, what happens is you flooded the market with too many battle royales and most of them died off. Only the few, it was like the Highlander, there could only be one, but in this case there was more than one, but still those few that are left are the only ones left, right? And new ones can't come into the fray. And I think live service is going to be the same problem, where only so many can be out there before people get sick, and people are already sick and tired. But if you introduce more into the market, people are just going to get sick and tired. So it's sickening to hear, because it's really, the CEO is talking to the investors and they're saying, we're going to make more money by charging everybody out the ass by making a crap game and monetizing the crap out of it and just getting as much money as we can out of the player base till it dies off. And that's pretty much it. And we don't care what happens to our franchises, whether our franchises are good or not. We're just going to do that. What do you think about all this, Shane?
Yeah, I agree. Suicide Squad get killed by Warner Brothers is what's happening. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm old school. I want my games complete. I don't believe in turd service games. Period. The Rocksteady is one of my favorite developers. When I say that, I mean I've loved everything they've done with Batman. Let's just say that. And when they announced Suicide Squad, I'm like, I can get into this. I like what they're talking about, and blah blah blah. And then I think it was like the first trailer they showed. The Flash lost a finger or something like that, and I'm like, God, I love this. And then they went to the gameplay, and when they would shoot somebody, you didn't physically see it, but you could imagine dollar popping up above their head. It was gross. I mean, it was absolutely gross. And Warner Brothers is gross for wanting to do that. Rocksteady has such a great pedigree, and they have such massive talent. And then Warner Brothers is like, you know what? Let's take that massive talent. Let's tone it down to about a 5 from a 10. And then let's find ways to just milk that. And that's all they've done with this game. If they want to increase revenue, my personal feeling is make good games. Make good, complete games. Harry Potter, fantastic game. Surprisingly, and I don't like Harry Potter people. I mean, I'm not a Harry Potter movie guy. I can't understand half of the shit they say. I'm just bad with it. But make good games, people. Warner Brothers wanting to turn everything into a live service game is asinine. I mean, Harry Potter, for instance, they want to turn that to a live service game. Give me your cash, and they're just going to put a goddamn credit card swiper on your console or your computer. It's disgusting. But you're right. You can only have so many live service games out there. Nobody has that much money or time. I mean, I certainly don't. I mean, there's lots of games I would like to play. I don't do WoW or Final Fantasy Online because I don't believe in paying full price for a game and then paying every month to play that game. I mean, to me, that's just stupid. That's me. But I don't have time to play multiple games that cost multiple dollars every month. I don't. I'm not going to pay for, a new cowl for Batman or, a cod piece for Wonder Woman. I'm not going to do any of that. It's just not who I am. And I damn sure couldn't do it with 4, 5, 6 service games. You can't. Warner Brothers, I think they're just hurting for money. I mean, their movies are failing miserably. I mean, Blue Beetle wasn't a bad movie, but it damn sure wasn't good. Uh, so their movie sector sucks. I don't know how well Harry Potter did, but it was a solid game. But to make games like that live service, to make games like Rocksteady, Suicide Squad live service, it just does not make sense to me. Mortal Kombat as a live service game is absolutely atrociously stupid. But that is me. I'm an older gamer. I don't believe in those types of games. I don't think they make sense. But it is all a money grab. I mean, and they're not shy about it anymore. Developers are not shy about the money grabs. And that is the saddest thing to me. I don't know. To me, it's just, if they want to make a game, if they want to make money, make good games. That's it. They don't all have to be 60-hour massive games like the Harry Potter was, or Mortal Kombat, but just make good games. That's all you have to do, is make things that people want to play. Give me an amazing 10-hour game at $50-$60 and knock something over. Or don't give me the garbage that you want to serve me, that I have to try to pay for bit by bit. But I'm going to start bitching and whining here in a second. So
Yeah.
What about you? I mean, do you really think that Warner Brothers has, at least from what they've released in your time frame of gaming, do you see any IP that they have that they could honestly make a good live service game out of?
I don't think any game is a good live service game.
Only an RPG would fit that. I think. I don't see anything in Warner Brothers repertoire fitting a live service.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, neither do I. The only thing that, and I wouldn't call like an MMO. I mean, you could say an MMO is like a live service, but I feel like MMOs are a little bit different in a sense. But
do you pay every month? Do you buy additional content? Can you buy life things, like buy a house, buy pangs for your house, buy COD pieces, buy armor? You do all that in a live service game. You do that
Right.
in an MMO.
You do, but MMOs,
I think the only difference would be
some MMOs,
the
like
size
a lot
of the DLC.
Right.
I think
like
that's the
Final
only
Fantasy
difference.
WoW, when they do content drops, it's huge, right? It's a crap ton of content. Like, it's not the trickle of content that live service games give you, like a skin, right? Or a new character. It's like a whole thing. Like Final Fantasy, like when they release content quite often, Final Fantasy 14, when they do, it's like new dungeons, a new area, new story quests, like this whole gambit of new crap, right? So it's like you get a lot of stuff and you're working off of their servers, right? With their servers they are hosting, which they're keeping maintenance on. So you're kind of paying the maintenance costs and stuff like that. It's only $10 a month. So if you're really into
that's $120 a year for one game.
Yeah, I've played plenty of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 14, I've bought in every expansion and played hundreds and hundreds of hours of. So that one I would, but like live service, and I've played tons of hours of WoW too. But not every MMO is a monthly subscription, right? A lot of them aren't. There's very few that are. A lot of them are free to play models. With free to play model MMOs are worse. If you think, Star Wars, the Old Republic is probably the worst. Well, probably not the worst, but it's definitely one of the worst I've seen, because in that one, if you're a free player, you can pay monthly, but it's optional. But if you're a free player on that one, which is an old MMO now, but you have to pay for extra hotbars and extra, like bag, storage for your character, and like, extra slots for things. Like they piecemealed the crap out of the interface, like things that you would normally need in an MMO to successfully function. You can function on the free to play model, but you're going to have a harder time. And it's like, that's outrageous. Right. But yeah, I mean, they all do it. Right. And it's just getting worse. But with Warner Brothers, like Mortal Kombat just came out with their DLC character pack. And back in Mortal Kombat 11, whenever they did DLC character packs for that one, it came with additional skins and characters. When the characters now, because there's a big uproar online, people are mad because they just released an additional character, but there was no additional skins. It's just the character, which means more than likely they are going to release additional skins. But again, they're going to piecemeal it. They're going to give you like a pack with, 4 skins in it, and then you can get the character, and they're not combined into one, right? You're getting less and less bang for your bucks, right? A good example is Diablo 4. They have get this. I mean, this is insane. A $64.99, so $65 DLC bundle pack that they're selling on their shop. It gives you a mount, so a new horse, and I can't remember however many platinum points to buy off the store. That's it. The same price as the game. You get the points and a mount. And it's $65. That is insane. It may be the cost of maybe you get more. I didn't look at the cost of like how much platinum you get, which is the in-game currency you buy with real money to use that currency to buy things in the shop. But again, like, it's just stupid. Like stuff like that. It's like, you're not getting anything. All you're really doing is, I guess it would be a good value if you were going to spend $70 on platinum points to buy, cosmetics out of their store. But I mean, like stuff like that is just, it's just ridiculous. And and every piece of cosmetic in the Diablo 4 store is $20. Every piece is $20.
So for that 65
$25,
yeah.
Something like that.
So for that $65, you're the one getting mounted. That's ridiculous
Yes.
and gross.
I mean, that's expensive for a cosmetic. It's a skin for your character.
Nuts. That is
it's insane.
nuts.
I mean, like some of the skins look pretty cool, and it's like, and even though I hate this stuff, and we talk about how I hate this stuff all the time, but when I do play a live service game, sometimes I'm part of the problem. So sometimes I do buy those additional things, but not at $25 a pop. I'm not going to. Like if it was a couple of dollars for a skin, I'd be like, okay.
Buy any of them. I am disgusted with you.
If it was $2, sir. If it was $2 for like a skin that I really liked, I would spend $2. But $25,
that's how they get you all the way to 65. They're like, some dumbass out there is going to give me $65 to paint his horse junk red. That's it. If you were buying, I wouldn't buy that. If you were spending $65 to paint your horse knob, you shouldn't be playing games. You should be in therapy.
Paint your horse knob. They're going to add that. Don't give them any ideas, Shane. I mean,
the horse knob pack.
Depending, like, if I'm really into a game, then yeah, I might spend a low amount of money to buy something off the store or something like that. But it has to be priced right? If it's outrageously priced, like the stuff in Diablo 4, I'm not going to spend a single dime in that store. Right. And the same thing with other stores. And as it gets progressively worse, I'm not going to spend any money because it's stupid for the stupid price for the amount of things that are in here. But I mean, it's just getting worse in Warner Brothers case, where I agree, I don't see anything. And all they're trying to do is just get more money out of the player by, again, slow dripping content to the customer. And you're going to saturate the market with live service games, and you're going to kill your franchises. Because if you keep making live service games and they all suck, and most of them do, then your player base is going to dwindle and dwindle and die off. And then you're not going to have those investors that the CEO is talking to might be happy from the start, but they ain't going to be so happy when these games aren't making any money because people are just sick and tired of it. The problem is for these CEOs and these game developers that make these games is it started out, it was a new thing that started out, this live service games, it was kind of exciting seeing where this would go. And I think a lot of gamers have seen where live service has gone and they just don't want to be a part of it anymore. And so that's why you see a lot of pushback with these live service titles. I'm sure there's still a lot of people spending money in these live service games, but I say to all the gamers out there and even to myself sometimes, you've got to not buy these things, right? You're just giving them more ammunition to make all their games live service like Warner Brothers wants to do. And, we've got to show them that we're not into these because I'm not into these, right? Like I said, I might dabble and buy something cheap. I'm talking cheap. It's got to be like a couple of bucks and I might give for some little thing or something, but I ain't spending no $25 on anything. No way. Not even. But if the live service, if this live service thing, if Warner Brothers really wants to kill off their franchises, I mean, they're just trying to ultimately make their investors happy. And that's what it all comes down to. All the shareholders, what do they want? Not what do the players want, not what's good for the gaming community, but what do my shareholders want? They want more money. So how can we make more money? We can do it by releasing a game that's half-assed and just slowly trickling content to the consumer for them to buy. And that's bad. And like Shane said, you don't have to, they don't all have to be $1 billion franchises. You don't have to, we've talked about this before, but just because you spend $1 billion developing a game doesn't mean it's the golden goose or it's a great game. You could spend $2 billion in the game. If the game's absolute trash, then it doesn't matter. It's still absolute trash. It doesn't matter your price tag on it. If it sucks, it sucks. No matter how much you spend. Look at movies. There's a lot of movies that spent billions of dollars and did crap at the box office because the movie sucked. Didn't matter how much they spent on it. It's the same thing with games. It doesn't matter how much you spend in a game. If the game sucks.
I blame tax deduction for a large part of this crap too. Tax deductions and freaking investors. Investors should have no say, period. If they trust a company enough to invest their money, they need to shut the hell up. 2, you make a shit-stained movie or a game and you release it, that's on you. My taxes shouldn't pay for your screw up for some frickin' window licker's ignorance. Oh, Wonder Woman versus Ghostbusters, that'll be a hit. Whatever the hell they decide. So I don't know. It's freaking ridiculous. You got me pissed off.
No, it is stupid. It's all stupid. And again, it's just to impress the investors to give them more money. But, Shane said it several times throughout all the podcasts that we've done, all these videos, vote with your wallet, right? If you want companies to stop making games like this and show them that this is a bad investment, just don't buy these titles, right? That's basically what you need to do. And don't buy from their stores and their shops and stuff like that. Enough people do, and that's why those things continue on. But we need to, and I guess in one case, a live service game can be fine if it's done correctly by the developer, and it's a really good game, but it has live service components to it.
Name one.
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
That's what I thought. Shut up.
There could be. Trying to think. I can't even think of a live service game. Let's see. I guess Destiny would be.
Destiny is a live service game. I would consider it a live service game. I also consider it crap too.
Well, I think Destiny's. Yeah, I think it's worse than it used to be. But they say like it's really difficult to say like, you know, I was looking at a list that said these are the 12 best live service games, and you have like Sea of Thieves. I mean, Sea of Thieves is a live service, or at least I think they've classified it as.
Now, Sea of Thieves, I consider a little bit different because, yes, you can go in there and buy all sorts of things. But from what we played, now we haven't played in a while, but from what we played, it never really felt purchasey. Like I have to, you have to buy all this crap. You have to do this and you have to pay for that to be able to do certain things. Sea of Thieves, if you want to sell 1,000 cosmetics, go for it. That's cool. I don't care. It's the content of the game that pisses me off. Content in a game should be all there, should be complete. If you want to buy the purple horse knob color, go for it. I don't care. But I just don't hide the content of the game. That's where I get pissed off about these live service games.
Yeah, well, it makes me wonder, like, what is the difference? Because more to think about it, I was thinking, like, looking at that list of games, and it got me thinking, what is a live service game? Like, what's the definition of a live service game?
It's a partially completed game that they sell you at full price. And then in 6 to 8 months later, they sell you the additional portions of the game they did not give you, along with the purple horse.
So Wikipedia says games as a service are ways to monetize video games either after their initial sale or to support a free-to-play model.
If they were all free to play, that'd be a lot more understanding for it, but not a full price. And then, the other milk.
And I was thinking, well, what's an MMO at that time? In that sense, that would still be considered a live service game then.
Yes, I would, but I think I would agree with you a little more. But MMOs would be more like the live service ultra model.
I guess the platinum model.
Yeah, so
it's got all the bells and it's the luxury model.
But yeah, so like Final Fantasy, you described it quite well. The content that they do produce doesn't feel like it was cut from the original content. Right. It's new content. It is, and it's like buying a sequel to the game because there is that much content to it. I mean, what was the last DLC, the last content update for Final Fantasy 14 price wise?
Oh, well, you don't have to buy any until the expansions. So
you're talking about what was the
expansion?
Yeah, that latest expansion was how much?
I have to look it up here.
So those games, when they come out with these expansions, these additional content things, you're getting a whole other game out of it. You're getting 30, 40 hours of content. And like some of these other games where you barely get 5.
So Endwalker was the last one. It was $40.
And how many hours of content was in that?
Lots. There's a whole new continent that you go to.
There you go. That's like live service, the ultra package, platinum, if like you said.
Right.
The live service that Warner Brothers and a lot of these other game developers are doing is, here's a partial part of the game. We're going to give you the rest of the game later. But in the meantime, buy the purple camouflage for your guns, or I know you're going with Sicko.
I mean, I guess they're all live service, right? I mean, by definition, they would all be live service.
The quantity of the service for what you're paying.
Right.
If you're paying $10 for 3 to 4 hours worth of content, that's just not worth it. Especially when it's content that really never finished. You never really got the completed package from the original purchase.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess it just
That's me.
depends, right? It just depends on the game and the way the developer does with the game. In the sense that, like, if you make a good game and that, because I was thinking of like Sea of Thieves as an example, right? That's a live service game, and we enjoyed that game, but that game was not feature complete when it came out.
No, but it also wasn't trying to charge us for stuff to complete those features.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Those features were free. I mean, besides the like, well, I think or was it free? The Monkey Island, was that
Monkey Island? It was free.
Was it? I couldn't remember.
And at least I'm 90% positive it was free. The content, the additional content and things like that, like the crack and all that's been free. What you are paying for in this game is cosmetics. This is, from what I can tell, it's been purely a cosmetic game. You can buy ships and outfits and weapon skins and all that. And, and now you can have private servers, private sea. You don't have to worry about being, attacked by 12-year-olds. So.
Right. And I guess, we enjoyed Sea of Thieves. All four of us would play quite a bit of it. And, I don't think any of us bought anything off the store cosmetically, but, we enjoyed quite a bit of it. But, I think ultimately I would have preferred it to be a feature complete game instead of slowly drip feeding the content.
Yes. I would agree with that on any game. I mean, I don't think, I've said this 1,000 times. I'm sick of games not being complete when they release. Diablo 3 was an amazing game, a completed game, not just in content, but actually developed and completed. The bugs it had were minor. It wasn't something that needed a patch bigger than the actual damn game. So,
yeah. And even like Street Fighter 6 is live service now. Like a lot of games are going to that live service model. And I understand, besides the money aspect, it's also a way to prolong a game, right? You take years to develop a game, and then, if it was fully featured, it would be played for like a month and then it would just trickle off into the ether. So it's a way for them to
Rainbow Six is a great example.
Extend the life of a game beyond many years beyond it, which then it's like, but also I feel like in some senses it may stifle development, right? Where they're like, we don't need to develop a new game. We have this one, we have Street Fighter at home. We don't need to develop something new.
Rainbow Six right there.
Yeah, with Ubisoft, Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, since Siege has been out, they haven't made a new Rainbow Six game since. They don't need to, right?
No, they haven't really made a game, period. By the way,
anything worth playing. Anything worth playing.
Yeah, it's the live service is one of the biggest detriments to the gaming, the gaming ethos.
And live service games, unfortunately, regardless of what we say, even with voting with your wallet type thing, they're not going to go away. But the question is, what can we do as the consumer, as gamers, to show developers, shareholders, that we're not interested in these types of games? And I think that's what we need to do as gamers, is to kind of convey to those individuals that these games we don't want these games to be the norm, because they're slowly turning into the norm. And I find myself playing more and more indie games, or more games that I know are feature complete, than ones that I know, hey, this is a live service game. And I'm just like, another one of these, right? Another Babylon's Fall. Come on.
You'll never change the gaming industry unless you take away the one thing they want more than anything, and that's your money.
Right. But unfortunately, it's like getting a collective of gamers from every walks of life to be on the same page on that is damn near impossible. So,
so stop buying that crap.
Stop buying it. Yes, that's the The more you know, that's what you need to know now. But of course, it won't happen. But try to, as gamers, we need to try to do our best and convey to those that need to know that, if you're not interested in these types of titles, and you think it's hurting the gaming market and the gaming atmosphere as gamers, then, that needs to be conveyed strongly so that people get the message that, hey, these games shouldn't stick around, these types of games, right? Let's go back to making feature complete games. They win all the awards, right? So you got anything else you want to add to this, Shane? This one went on a little long. We got into the weeds.
Stop buying that shit. That's all I can say.
Yeah. We got into the weeds on this one. We have to hedge our way out of here. So thanks everybody for listening, watching. Let us know down in the comments, what do you think of live service games? What do you think of Warner Brothers turning all their games into live service games? Like, what's your thought process on it, right? Thinking about, it really made me think once we really got into it, was thinking about like MMOs and stuff like that. Yes, I guess Shane is right in the sense that, all these games are live service, but MMOs are, well, not all of them, but a lot of MMOs that are also live service are just the Cadillac version, right? Compared to some of the other ones. You just get different types. So, but let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Do us a favor. Help us out. Say no to those live services games by hitting the subscribe button. Somehow it helps out. I don't know. But other than that, we'll see you later.
See ya.